forms which are perhaps understood?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So the bespoke contracts are there because the type of work that they do, I mean, I can't justify the business decision too well of Barclay Homes going and deciding they need a bespoke contract. Using the NEC3 would be acceptable in my perspective. However, through having a contract which they are very familiar with, they are able to administer it in a way which suits their operation of developing residential development projects. They have a long, short, and medium form contract. So in essence, it's something which they've had for a very long time. Prior to the NEC even coming around. So to them, it's become second nature to administer it. Of course, you're absolutely right. There are risks because, for example, say if you were to use a JCT, there's a plethora of legal precedents to draw from. So you are able to very easily understand very easily. With a lawyer's help, you're able to understand what is likely to happen if you do certain things. However, because the Barclay contract doesn't have that amount of legal precedent, I think you can find yourself in complicated solutions. And one of my old colleagues did tell me that there was a position where certain terms in the contract during an adjudication were found not to be enforceable, and that's absolutely not where you want to be when you're administering your own suite of contracts, because weighting of that contract starts to lose in the eyes of the adjudicator. Then effectively they will start looking at how the contract is administered between two peoples, where there's a meeting of two minds.
Yeah. Okay, I think we need to move. We need to close down pretty soon, Dermot.
Okay.
Do you have any? I'd just like to raise one about the ICE Code of Conduct. Which do you think is the most important provision? Competence. In what way? Enlarge on that a little.
So, I mean, don't get me wrong, but I think they're all quite critical. But I think through competence is effectively someone who's competent has the skills, knowledge, training, and experience to carry out a certain activity. Now, whilst everyone can be good intentioned and be aware of what regulations are out there, a lack of, say, experience could result in an adverse effect which is substantially larger than the other issues caused by not conforming to the ICE Code of Conduct in other departments. For example,
to what extent would you say that was actually would be governed by a more general one like integrity? You know, a person with integrity would not actually undertake work which they were not competent for.
You're right, but no, I mean, there's a reason why the ICE has effectively 6 key core concepts. But I went for competence is because I think I see what you're saying. Integrity could be looked at being at the top of the remainder of the.
So there's no right or wrong answer in that particular one. You could select any one of them and actually say that they govern the others. I'm just interested in your general views. I think we need to just wind up now. Dermot, have you got any last questions?
I just add to the competence comment I made really quickly. It's just that I think also a lot of the health and safety issues that have happened over time, for example, Grenfell, that was, I think, largely a competence.
I think we need to go easy on Grenfell. It's still, the jury's out, as it were. Still, I think I know it must be very relevant to what you're doing, but I think I don't think we should use that one as an example of anything at the moment. I think the issue's not been resolved yet.
Okay.
No, I've got no further questions.
Okay. Do you have any points you feel that we could have covered in a little more detail, or you'd like to raise?
If I may just, I'm just having a look at what we've discussed. I mean, I think my only, well, two questions really. The first is, earlier you did mention that you were a little bit concerned about the way in which I was possibly...
No, I wasn't concerned. I was interested. I was interested. Right, I'm not concerned. It's not. You know, people go for a variety of activities, and there may be, you know, so there's no concern there. I was just interested. It was just interesting that your career seemed to be moving much more into contracts and property, the property portfolio side, rather than the engineering side. And I was just interested as to how that had come about.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry, the point I was alluding to was my involvement with the contractors proposal at the time, and I just wanted to make sure that I hopefully clarified to you that I didn't lead them as to what doing, merely pushing back where I felt that a better solution could have been proposed.
Okay.
And that's being discussed.
Understood.
Clarify.
Okay. Right. Renato spoke to you about the written exercise. It is not meant to be a test of your knowledge, and there's no right and wrong answer. What we're interested in is your views for and against a particular proposition, and to come up with a conclusion. Okay? It should not be seen as an opportunity to fill in any gaps that you might have perceived there to be in the interview. It's just it's an exercise in how you express yourself in writing. With the procedure, you'll get an email just before 2:00, and you'll have until 5:00 to finish it off, to complete it and submit it. Hey, Dermot, any last minute?
I mean, unless you feel there's something which I could be providing further information in, I don't think I have further queries.
Okay, thank you. Dermot?
No, nothing from me. Thank you, Sergio.
Thank you, Sergio. Thank you very much, and best of luck in the result and in the written exercise. Okay, you should be hearing in about